Hello and welcome to my review of the 3 Cerastus Knights for Warhammer the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. I finally built all 3, so I thought I would do a review, like a collection review of the 3 plastic ones. The next video I'll give you a review, overview of my entire Cerastus Knight collection so far. And when I say so far, I'm still undecided whether to pick up a, well, 4th Cerastus Knight Lancer, but I'm quite pleased with the way the collection's gone. It all started off with the Cerastus Knight Lancer that I unboxed. Can you believe it? 8 months ago. I know, August of 2023. Seems such a long time ago. Then I followed that up 6 months ago, like a month later in September, towards the end of September, with the Castigator, and I didn't pick up the Acheron until December of last year, and I thought I would build it over Christmas and things as a little project, but there were other things that kind of happened, like Dark Angels, for instance. So here we are. We've got the 3 Mechanicum, plastic Mechanicum, kind of been announced. So no doubt we'll be getting some more knights, some battle automata, things like that. I'm hoping for Styrics and Megaera in full plastic. I hope they don't use the old Knight kit, the old Questoris Knight kit with them though, but yeah, I think they probably will. The Atrapos could be very nice in plastic. There's no issue them using the legs and things for this, but just creating different armor plates. So maybe put 2 new sprues in there, or even 3. So that would be a bit tricky, but it's still possible. So kicked off with the Knight Lancer. I'll be picking up the minis, I guess, throughout the course of this video. So this Lancer, I went for a very sort of set of safe poses, stoic poses. I tried to use the fact that you can choose any leg forward, really to its extent. I think as a reflection of the Questoris Knights, I put the right legs forward. If you're not familiar with the kits by now, there are plugs and sockets in with the hips and but you can clip them off and then move the legs in kind of any pose you want. You know, your patience with holding the pieces when they're gluing into a desired pose is really the only limitation. I'm going to be, if I do get a 4th Lancer, I will put that in quite an ambitious pose. Now that they're in plastic, you really can experiment and go for poses like this that I went for in resin. Probably not the you know, smartest idea doing that in resin, because it's heavy, it's far heavier, but at least with plastic, you know, you could probably attempt to do something like that. I do like the posability of the arms. They share the same posability as the resin kits, and they, you know, the arms can be taken off and put on. I'm not sure why you would do that, because, you know, each one of these Cerastus Knights has specific arms and specific weapons for them, unlike the Questoris, where, you know, you can swap out the rapid fire battle cannon for the thermal cannon and and the las impulsor and things like that, whereas these, it's like these are the 3 sets. You know, you've got the Lancer that only has the Iron Gauntlet shield and the lance, and this specific head has specific shoulder pauldrons, and I just want to talk about them for a moment. So this Lancer has the they've all got the same shoulder pauldrons, but what you put on the top of those shoulder pauldrons changes the look of them slightly. So the Lancer has this extra sort of secondary layer that covers the whole of the pauldron. The Castigator only has this extra plate here, which is, you know, has some big cutouts. And then the Acheron just has the Lancer shoulder pauldrons, but with this flared thing at the top. It's important to note that because you're only changing these top pieces, the shoulder pauldrons are different with all of the resin counterparts. Even the Lancer, the shoulder pauldrons are different. They may look very similar with this flared thing at the tip, but if you look more closely at the pauldron covering, there's quite a big cutout there, which is more deeper than the sort of tapered, than the longer tapered cutout for the plastic Lancer. With the Castigator, it actually has cutout on the tips, and then with the Acheron, the flared framing goes much deeper. So there are differences with the resin kits. You're not getting like for like, and that goes down to the detail as well. It's subtle, but if you look, it's there. And what I mean by that is the 3D detailing. Some places you get extra parts, I guess, extra detail, and it does look better in resin. With vehicles, it's harder to spot, but with these knights it's a bit easier, and then of course with characters it's you know, night and day. But everything from like extra rivets, like even this lance here has extra framing and extra rivets, not only on the armor plates but also the supporting ring. There's extra rivets even like around the toes and on the framing, on the power plant at the back. Now that's a great thing to have with the resin kits, but it's not massively essential. You know, and I think Games Workshop have still done an absolutely incredible job to bring these into plastic completely. Yes, they are in 3 separate sets, and yeah, probably the ideal scenario would be having one set that has all 3 options, so you could probably mix and match, magnetize them. You know, if you magnetized the shoulder pauldrons and the head, the arms don't really need to be magnetized because they're on a nice mechanism there. But that's all you'd really need to do, is magnetize the pauldrons and the head, and then the arms you could swap out. But of course, you know, you only get one set of arms, if that makes sense, per kit. So even if they included like the weapons sprue into the same kit, you're still missing 2 arms. So that makes it even trickier if you wanted to magnetize just the joint in there. And then on top of that, the other 2 knights have their ammunition stores. So like with the Acheron, you've got the dual fuel tanks, and with the Castigator, you've got the big, you know, ammunition box of bullets, pretty much. Then there's the ammo feed itself. With the Castigator, you've got this armoured linked system, which I think is one of the best things to come out of Horus Heresy, along with the vehicle upgrade accessory sprue. With the Acheron, you've got this armour plated fuel line, I guess. So while it would be nice to have one set to rule them all, like to have all the different weapons and things, I just don't think it's possible. I don't think it's feasible. It's not as feasible as you know, the Paladin set, you know, the Questoris set that has what, about 8 different you know, knight types in there. With that one, it's, you know, all of those knights they may have a different faceplate, but it's not a completely new head. They all have the same pauldrons, the same chassis. I think you get a couple of different iron shield plates, but the same armor plates. The main thing that you're swapping out is just these weapons, you see. So they don't and the carapace weapons are just quite simple to just slot on there. So it's not an easier kit. So it's not as easy a kit to just bundle in all of the sprues and things. Hope I made that point, you know, of kind of why they decided to go for individual kits. I hope that makes sense. Super. You already have these in resin. Why did you get them in plastic? Well, like most things I pick up for Warhammer these days, for the channel and for you guys, and to show you the differences between the plastic and resin. I'm in a very fortunate position to have been able to pick up the resin knights. I was on the fence about getting them back in 2020, I think it was, towards the end of 2020. But I'm pleased that I did, because it was my first foray, if you will, into these large resin knights. And I have to be completely honest with you guys, when I first saw these taller, lankier, thinner knights compared to, you know, these Questoris, I wasn't a big fan at all. I didn't think that they'd be able to fit into the army. I didn't think that they'd fit very well with the Questoris. I just thought that they would be out of place, you know, because they're just so much taller than your typical Questoris knight. But, you know, we've got Titans and we've got Mysteriuses and Porphyrians and things, and now when you've got bigger Knights and Titans, they actually work quite well as I say bodyguards. Yeah, in a way. I mean, Titans don't normally have melee weapons, especially not the resin ones. I'd love the shock lance for a warhound. I'd love an Ursus claw, you know. I'd love some kind of chain blade that the Reaver used to be able to pick up, or even a chain blade for like the Warlord. But as it stands, these are great units to have them near Titans, to just protect them from other knights and infantry and things, especially when you get into the realms of like the like a Castigator or the Atron with that flamer. You know, a Titan will typically be able to shrug off lots of long-range weaponry with the void shields, but they can't really do much in close combat. And I say close combat, it's very rare that you would get a unit, you would be facing up against a unit of 6 Eradicators or 10 Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators, but Lysander himself did go around teleporting 10 Thunderhammer Terminators just to crumple Titan's feet and smack the joints in and things like that. So, you know, those things do exist. That's why having these knights really is kind of like a supporting force for your Titans. You shouldn't really let your Titans go it alone unless they're, you know, a long way in the distance, firing their barrage weapons. Always keep them protected, because they would be vulnerable in close combat to other knights and melee specific units. There's so much in the lore about Titans getting swamped by, you know, huge numbers, or specialized teams that can maglock and repel up, and, you know, that's all they need to do is to get into Titan and take out the crew, and, you know, that's a massive loss for the Imperium. So yeah, it's good to have these kind of things around. I know I've gone on a bit about the other Knights and Titans, but the real star of this video are the Cerastus Knights there. I'm looking forward to a plastic Atrapos. That's my favourite looking Cerastus Knight if I had to pick one. But out of these three, in terms of build, posability and just looks, I really do like the Atron. I'd probably say that is one of my favourites. It may well be like the weakest out of the three in terms of rules. They've all got the stat lines. It's just the changes in their weaponry. In terms of looks, and I this isn't saying that I don't like this model. It's probably just like my least favourite. I'd probably say the Castigator. I like the bolt cannon, don't get me wrong, but I think it is a bit underwhelming. But the Tempest Blade and the rules for that are very strong, especially when you throw that into a group of 20, 30 models. What do you guys think of the plastic Cerastus Knights, and which is your favourite? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.